Welcome back to the Swagcast. I'm your presenter Ellie Yolo Swag, and today I'm going to be telling you about my career. First of all, I'm going to be talking to you about my education and qualifications. The main ones that you'll most likely need for a career as a video editor is that I have a GCSE in Media Studies, I then have an AS in Business Studies, and I have a Level 3 Media Production course. Now, the GCSE and AS qualifications aren't as important as my Level 3 media course, but it's still interesting and useful for later on if I were to go into another career or just to even use them with video editing as well. Sorry for that. I don't really know what just happened there, something just fell over in the room. But anyways, I'm going to now go on to talk about the experiences I have. Now, with the video editing career I work for YouTubers, content creators, influencers, whatever you want to call them. I work for them and I edit their YouTube videos. Now, with experience, it's literally just applying to any sort of forum or anything that you see. For example, a streamer called Bilzo at one point on his Twitter was like, I'm looking for video editors, so I just went ahead and applied. Another example is another streamer called Amesy. I was just scrolling through my Twitter one day and I saw that they had tweeted and they were like, I'm looking for video editors. So I applied. And whereas with this one, compared to the streamer Bilzo, there was a little sample task where you get to show off your editing skills, and rather than just sort of getting to know you, they get to know you a bit in the form, but you also get to show off your editing techniques and why yours is unique. Another thing with experiences is that you've got to know how to use Premiere Pro. You'll find that most content creators will want their videos to be edited in Premiere Pro, and most people just use it in general for editing YouTube videos. Now, if you're like me, I used iMovie for years, but that's only because I had access to Apple devices. I had access to iPhone, iPad, iPod at one point. It wasn't until the summer of 2021 where I decided that I wanted to take up the task of trying to learn Premiere Pro, which was a lot more harder than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, cool than I was expecting it to be. It definitely was worth because now I know how to use Premiere Pro. Sorry, I just saw my mic audio was acting all weird. I don't really know what's going on. There's a bit of a weird vibe in this room right now. I apologise for if anything sounds weird or if anything, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. Anyways, so yeah, I took up the task of teaching myself how to use Premiere Pro, and I learnt the basics, and then I joined my media course, and I then got to play around with more things in Premiere Pro, and now I'm a bit of a pro, I guess. Anyways, so after my media course and everything, luckily during that time, I applied to become a video editor for Amesy, which I briefly mentioned, and I managed to get the job. I had a part-time job at Tesco, so I was able to quit that. Loved working at Tesco's. Tesco workers, if you're hearing this, love you. But, you know, it was just a part-time thing to have to make money during college. Obviously, I didn't want to stick with it. And then I just managed to get the job, and then this is what I've been doing ever since. I've worked for a few other content creators, but the main person I edit for is Amesy. So honestly, I would just recommend any of the people that you follow, if you ever see them tweet asking for editors, and I'm really sorry about what is going on. I don't know So many things are falling in my room. My mic keeps cutting out. I don't really know what's going on. But today we have a sponsor for this podcast episode. So I'm going to let that play. Hello, it is Ellie YOLO Swag here. And today for our podcast episode, we have been sponsored by Adobe themselves. Now, if you know a bit about me, you'll know that I've done a few editing things in the past of my own and for other people, and I even edit my own podcast, which you're listening to right now, the Swagcast. So, luckily enough, Adobe got in contact with me and they wanted to sponsor this episode, specifically where I'm talking about my career as a video editor. So, you can get 50% off all of the apps. I know, 50% off, big discount off all the apps, Creative Cloud, with the discount code EllieYOLOSwag50. No need to thank me, no need to thank me. I know, you're very much welcome for this discount code. I hope all of you, whoever's listening, if you use this code, I hope all of you have fun getting to learn how to use all the different Adobe software programs. And maybe you can join me in the career, in the industry, in the sector of becoming a video editor. Because I definitely recommend. So start with what I did and just teach yourself the basics of Premiere Pro. And then go on to learn Photoshop and all the other apps that you have access to now with this discount code. No need to thank me. Thank you again, Adobe, for sponsoring this episode and helping my audience learn how to use the different software programs.
5, 6, 3, 2, 1, 0.